welcome back to Battling Brush It. It has been some time since Rob and I have been able to coordinate our lives, really, to get back into battling brushes, but I think we have got everything nailed down and we're ready to move forward. Well, we have got a pretty cool treat for you this month. We're going to be doing a couple of starter sets from Dust 1947, and it's a really cool system that they have set up because you can buy these miniatures either just regular kits on the sprues, no paint, no primer, no nothing, and you can build them just like normal, any other miniatures game basically, or you can build them already pre-assembled, or you can rather buy them already pre-assembled and already primered, so all you have to do is paint them, and you actually don't have to paint them because they do come primered in different colors. Or you can go with the Premier set, which comes already put together, already painted. So that's the three-tiered level that Dust 1947 comes available in. The ones that we're going to do is that middle tier, where they have already been pre-assembled and they've already been primered. So Rob and I are just going to be painting them. So that's what we're doing this month. So let's get down to the table, and I'll start off with a couple of heroes from my battle group, and then we'll see what Rob's going to do a little bit later on in the video. Let's get down to the table. So today we're getting started with battle group PLA. We're going to start with the two heroes that come in the box, the Phoenix and her brother, the Dragon. And this is a sibling pair of heroes that can fight as a group together, or they can join other infantry groups and lead them into battle as well. So as you can see with her battle card here, she has a pretty simple color scheme. It's mainly that bluish uniform that I'm going to be using Wolf Gray for, and it gives a pretty good subdued bluish grayish color that is looking for. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You're probably going to want to do a couple of coats because the dark I guess you could call a Xandri dust base coat that they've done on this is a little bit hard to cover with this lighter color blue gray, so you probably need to do a couple of different coats. But on this one, we're not really worried about messing up or getting anything else over there. We're just really worried about covering the majority of the model with this grayish bluish uniform color that they have on. So there's not a whole lot of difficulty here. You just want to make sure that the entirety of that uniform is this blue color. So you can have a pretty heavy hand on this one. This is a easy part of the model because you're going to be going back and cutting in all of those details and the differences from the two where the skin comes on and all that other kind of stuff. So this is the easy part. And after you let that wolf gray dry, we're going to come back and get the skin parts with a desert yellow from Army Painter. And again, this is a little bit, maybe you want to be a little bit more delicate with this one because you don't want to get back over those blue parts of the uniform. So just cut in along the edge first. That's what I usually like to do. And then you can come back and get all the other stuff later, so that there's no difficulties there. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the gunmetal parts of the weapon, which are this gun right here, this Mauser, I guess is what it is, and then the blade here of their close combat weapon, and then the circle back here. I don't know if that's going to be metal or not, but I'm going to make it metal, so there you have it. And this one, again, we don't really need to worry too much about what we're doing here because we are going to cut that glove back in as well. And then the handle of the Mauser, which is down here in the palm of his hand, that's going to be a brown color. So again, we're just really hitting the edge of the model here, not a whole lot of delicate work here, but it is going to make a huge difference in how the model looks. So we do need to spend a little bit of time on this, but not a whole lot, because again, we're going to be cutting in around it later on too. But we want to make sure we get all faces of it too, so go underneath the bottom here. So that's the gun, or at least the metal part of the gun. And now the blade on this weapon over here looks pretty menacing, but I'm using a little bit of a bigger brush because, again, I'm just trying to get it covered as quickly as possible. We're not trying to worry too much about details or anything like that, which would call for a smaller brush. We're just trying to get coverage. And now for their hats up top, we're going to be using a War Boss green for that, so that we get the light green effect that we're looking for, but you know, not too light. All right, and here I'm just kind of taking a almost a perpendicular angle for the brush, so that I'm not getting it too far onto other places that I don't want it to go, rather, the paint, that green paint. So that's kind of a trick that I use. Whether it works well for you, I don't know. It just depends on what you'd like to try out. Okay, so now we're going to take some leather brown here and cut in their the leather straps and belt that they have on them. So that strap comes across the chest here, and then the belt, of course, is around the waist. And we're also going to use this leather brown for their holsters as well. So let's go ahead and get that done. You might want to use a little bit of a smaller brush for something like this, because this is what I would consider at least detail work. It takes a little bit more time, but if you just take your time and be patient, it's usually not that big of a deal. And now we're going to take some oak brown and put that for the staff of their weapon here. It's a little bit of a darker brown, so hopefully it'll be a little bit of a contrast to the rest of the model. Hopefully, you know, we'll see. But then there's a little patch here. You can barely see it, but it has a little bit of a raised surface. We're going to do that in some leather brown here in a little bit once we get this oak brown cut in. Now we can take some flat or matte black and do the gloves here for each of the hands. And again, not really wanting to get onto any of the other places that we've already painted, so this one's going to take a little bit of finesse as well. Well, as much finesse as you can muster. And so that just about does it for the Phoenix and the Dragon. The Dragon here, as you can see, I went ahead and hit it with a little bit of a soft tone from Omni Painter to, you know, dinge it up a little bit. This guy's in the middle of a fight, as a matter of fact, so it's okay that he looks a little dirty and his clothes aren't actually pristine, which is the look I was going for. You know, the guy's in the middle of a war zone, so he's going to be kind of dingy looking. So that's why I went ahead and went with the soft tone for that. That's the Dragon. The Phoenix over here did the same thing, and I think the detail came out pretty well with everything that looks like there. Just a lot of good definition that is in this model, and that soft tone really brought it out pretty well. So let's go see what Rob's doing.
Sam, everything looks great as always, and the most important thing here is, hello everybody, it's great to be back. I'm great to be with my very close and one of my best friends, Sam Healey, and most of all, it's great to be back on the Dice Tower. It's been a little while, and well, 2017 has been kind of a hectic year, but 2018's here, and battling brushes is back, and it's back better than ever. So, what am I working on? Well, Sam's doing a great job with his, but of course, I am working on the German starter set. As you can see, this really looks kind of cool here. And in the coming weeks, I'll be working on some of the figures and that nice tank. But also I have the Winter Child, which is a Russian figure. So I'm going to be painting him up. We're going to get him out of the way. We're going to do him this week. And there's only one thing I say. Let's get to the table and see how we go. As you see, we have the Winter Child here, and he's already pre-primed. I put him on his base because it's going to make it easier than grabbing him, because the first coat that we're going to put on him is a Balthasar Gold. And as you can see, I have a little piece of resin tile, but you can't see that I have a little pool of water there. So we're just going to water this down a little bit, and we are going to get this going. So I just want to get this into the water there. There we go. And just kind of cut that a little bit, because we're going to cover the entire body here. Now this next part's just very, very simple, and all we're going to do is just get all that Balthasar Gold all over this guy. That's right. And we're going to make sure that we really get in all the corners here and everything like there. And I'm going to do this. And as you can see, I'm just taking a bigger brush. I'm not worried about anything else than just covering everything here. Get that little hair out there and we'll be good. Be careful not to get this post. It's not going to kill you if you do, because you can scrape it off afterwards. But you want to make sure that you get as close as you can. And I like using a bigger brush. It just goes on quicker. And I'll finish this up, and then we'll come back for the next step. As you can see, we got them all bronzed up here. This may take a couple coats because you want to thin this down. And also you have that primer, which is a dark olive green, which is kind of fighting back just a little bit, but you want to make sure that you get this in there as best as you can. And as you can see, I got a little on that post, but again, we can scrape that off later because it's just an acrylic, so I'm not worried about that. It's better than getting it all over your hands or making fingerprints on our friend here. So we're going to let him dry, put another coat on it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start detailing this guy, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now that he's nice and dry and we got the second coat on him, I'm going to take a little corn red and I'm going to paint this star in, and then I'm going to take some Techless blue, and on these retros back here, I'm just going to give the illusion of some flames coming out of there, or you know, I mean whatever gets him up to the top there. So by taking just a corn red, and I'm not too worried about getting it dead on in there, I just want to touch the star and really bring that star and just kind of set it, because I'm not too worried about it right now because of what the next move I'm going to make is. And now that we got that all set, we're going to wait on the Techless blue because we have to do something else first. So now our next step is to put some new oil on our old boy here. So we're just going to shake this up a little bit. We're going to just take a heavy brush, a big brush, because we want to get this in there pretty quickly. The whole idea is to get the guy painted as quickly as possible, of course. Now normally I would use maybe an Agrath Earthshade on this, but I'm going to use a new oil, and there's a reason for that. And I'm painting all over them and making sure this really gets in the grooves here. We really want this to get in the recesses. Make sure that you use your brush and really move it around. I'm going to keep moving this around, and we'll show you once this is this process is completed. Now, if it may pool up here, and you want to move that around. You see what I'm doing here? And I'm getting it. You want to get it all in the jet engines. Don't worry about getting it on the base or on the thing. Again, this is something that you can actually work off later. And as you can see, I am just really just kind of taking and getting that in there really nicely. And it's really making a nice effect. It's getting into the recesses, which is very key because we really want that in the recesses, because what we're going to do is you darken so you can brighten. Brighten, not like the jewelry. That's only for you married guys, because if you have a wife, you know that she likes brighten. So let's keep moving along here. As you can see, we're going to let him dry. And now that we have that all in the recesses, and just move it around a little bit. But once it's in the recesses, let it dry for a bit, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to start to highlight. Okay, now that we got them darkened up with that wash, what we want to do is take some Retribution Armor and kind of lighten him up. Now, I got a little on my brush here. I'm just going to take off a whole bunch. And all we're going to do is, because we don't want to take a lot away, we just want to just lightly go over certain areas here. And just ever so lightly, not too much, because we don't want to take a lot of it away. And we just over the top a little bit. Just kind of not taking those dark areas out, but just kind of giving them a little bit of a sheen there. There we go, just over the top. And you can see I'm just tickling this. Light as a feather. Nice and easy. Not taking the brass out, but just adding a little bit of highlight and life to it. And again, just taking that brush and working it in there a bit. And just making sure that we get all the areas that we want. I'm going to finish this up and we're going to come right back. And now we're going to take some Evil Sun Scarlet and just go over the crest there, or the star. We just want to bring that back up since we darkened it up a bit, and we're just going to lightly go over it. Nothing too extensive, just enough to kind of make that star stand back out. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And just very lightly with the paint. Make sure you use good small brush for this, because this is a little tricky. And boom, we got that star back. Now let's just do our final touch up here. Now we're going to take a Tekis blue, which is a very light blue, and we're just going to hit some of those areas that are in here where a little blue is required, and that's his eye socket here. So we're just going to hit that right there, and then his laser here, that's blue, so we're going to get that in there. And now we're going to paint underneath here blue, and we'll probably maybe go a lighter color, but I think for this guy and for what we're trying to accomplish, there we go. That way we have that blue flame that comes out of here. I think that's pretty close to what we were going for. And there's the box cover, and here's our guy. I think that's pretty close to what we wanted to achieve. So without further ado, let's send it up top and get on out of here. Well, there you have it. That's how you paint the Winter Child pretty quickly. As you see, it's easy. Anybody can do it. And the one thing that Sam and I always preach, we may not be the best painters in the world, but I will tell you this much. We make it easy so you guys who are beginners can come in and enjoy this hobby. Again, it's so great to be here again and see you all. So until next time, as always, Sam, take us on out of here.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. You did a great job with that model. I appreciate your work. Now, for all you guys, thank you for coming back and watching. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that we've been gone for so long. It's been a rough fall/winter/ beginning of the new year, but I think we've got everything settled. So thank you for joining us. I hope you come back next time. Next week, we're going to be busy doing the marathon, so we won't be able to put together a Battling Brushes next week for you, but we'll be right back at it the following week. So we'll see you guys on the flip side.